لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
A waqf, it's a voluntary charitable endowment that is bequeathed or bequested to Almighty Allah for charitable, humanitarian and religious purposes. A waqf is something that one actually gives out of one's own generosity. It's a pure voluntary deed, but importantly, a waqf remains intact and capital, and that's the distinguishing factor about a waqf, that once made a waqf, it needs to be permanent. It's not a consumable item. It actually goes into buildings and apartments and investments and so forth. And the income streams from these waqf or awqaf are then used for social development purposes, for funding poverty alleviation, for community development, and various other kinds of community development projects.
Delivered the opening address.
I think in the first instance we must recognize that because so much investment looks for immediate returns, short-termism dominates so much of the economy, but because people's lives are not determined in the short term, it takes generations to drive change. You need people with conscience and determination to drive the change, and I think that it's in this context that waqf and awqaf finds resonance. And you know, there are many places where you've had the same investment through waqf funds for 2 decades now, and you can begin to see the changes in those kinds of areas. It's that level of commitment that I think we're looking for. If I look at a project like Assalam in KwaZulu-Natal, started as an orphanage, it grew into a primary school, there now is preschool, primary school, high school, training for disadvantaged young people. It's that kind of presence that makes change. If you're looking for change, I think it's long-termism, and I think the commitment that comes with that, which sees people put or give of themselves into this project is what makes a difference, both to the general economy, because we're getting better skilled people, we're getting a better infrastructure where people live, we're getting access to services, but I think through that we're also contributing significantly to economic growth.
Islam asks of Muslims to not only give of themselves, but of their wealth too, and the Awqaf Foundation has set itself up to deliver on this task.
Awqaf South Africa is an institution, a waqf institution, and why somebody should actually rather give it to Awqaf South Africa as a waqf institution or make a donation via Awqaf South Africa is because we need to institutionalize the waqf system. We need to institutionalize so that the management of that particular fund can actually take place at a much professional level. There are trustees that are appointed to ensure that the waqf fund remains intact. There's a custodian in charge of that particular fund. The fund is actually managed. So instead of actually spending it oneself, where it may not really make much of a difference, although it is encouraged as well, but if one does it collectively, then it actually helps. And you know, there's an ethic within Islam that if we do something in Jama'ah, it's better. For example, Laysa al-Islam illa bil Jama'ah. There is no Islam without Jama'ah and being together and so forth. And I think also by pooling our resources, we are able to predict our spending, we are able to plan our spending, we are able to look at targeted areas. I think through an institution, you are able to manage and assess projects much more carefully. You can relate to other institutions and organizations at a much higher level. You can basically create much more funding available for projects and so forth. So I think through an institution, it really helps to actually mobilize much more resources and also help to further this whole concept of the Waqf system. So therefore, we really need an institution such as Awqaf South Africa to do this particular management and mobilization and promotion of the Waqf system.